Hello and welcome to my new channel, Living a Free Life. My goal is to live off of my investments. And in this channel, I'll be taking you through my journey of growing my investment portfolio. My current portfolio is about $410,000, and I will be going over my current portfolio and also my Bitcoin plan for 2026 to grow my portfolio. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. It's easier to plan my portfolio when I see it in front of me, and I like to make kind of like a table where I could kind of see everything. We're going to start off with my current portfolio. This is as of May 21st, 2026. It looks a little bit weird. The reason here is I just sold 2 investment properties. So I'm just starting out. Up until now, most of my investments my whole portfolio was basically real estate. So as of now, we're gonna just go over my table here. I could go over my actual dashboard, but it's easier for me to see it over here. We're gonna start really quick. Real estate, currently I have $115,000. This is the equity in my real estate. This is what I'm reading off of. Real estate, $115,000. And then I have another $10,000 in BTCI. This month, I just bought $10,000 worth of BTCI. BTCI is the NEOS Bitcoin High Income ETF. This has a 26.36% distribution rate at the moment. The fund seeks to distribute monthly income generated from writing call options on Bitcoin futures ETFs. What got me into this is actually, I want to be invested in Bitcoin, but not only actual Bitcoin, I also want to generate income, because up until now, the rental properties I had would generate income for me. So I still, other than buying actual Bitcoin, I still want monthly income. And the reason I want to start off with BTCI is because it's considered return on capital. Because for 2026, my capital gains tax is going to be really, really high because I sold 2 investment properties. So basically at this moment, I need to invest in different ETFs that I can postpone paying taxes on. Let's say I get distributions in 2026. I won't be needing to pay taxes until I sell the ETF. Therefore, in 2026, I could get dividends or distributions that I won't have to pay taxes on them for 2026. So that's the situation. I have a really, really high long-term capital gains tax bill. I'll go over this a little bit later about the whole table. Over here, I have Stretch, $215,000 in Stretch. I parked my money there right now. I'm not planning on continuing with that amount. Stretch is the Strategy Variable Rate Perpetual Stretch PRF SHS, whatever, Series A. I'm not really going to get into how it works. Stretch, short-term duration, high yield credit. So Stretch, STRC is Strategy's perpetual preferred stock that currently pays 11.5% annual dividends, payable monthly in cash. Stretch's dividend rate is adjusted monthly to encourage trading around Stretch's 100 par value and to help strip away price volatility. So this is basically for somebody who wants to be exposed for Bitcoin but wants less volatility. By the way, these investments are not safe investments. They're actually highly risky. So just do your research. Let me just see if there's a quick. It is a perpetual preferred stock issued by Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy. It acts somewhat like a high yield savings instrument rather than a traditional volatile stock. The yield is 11.5%. The dividend payouts are heavily supported by Strategy's massive cash and Bitcoin reserves. The dividends are also classified as return of capital. This means you typically don't pay immediate income tax on the distributions. Instead, the payments reduce your cost basis, deferring taxes until you sell the shares. Who's it for? It targets investors who want exposure to the Bitcoin ecosystem, but prefer a steady monthly income stream over the price volatility of standard Bitcoin or common MSTR shares. Now it's at 99.32. Let's see the past 6 months. So it strives to stay around $100 per share. And then I have another $70,000 cash in FZDXX. FZDXX is the Fidelity Money Market Fund. You can only invest in it with a minimum of 100,000, but you don't have to keep 100,000 inside. So when I sold my property, I quickly bought it, so I'll have access to it. It has a little bit higher of a yield than the Fidelity SPACs, which is their default money market fund. It currently sits at about 3.44. I get a little bit of a higher yield. So total portfolio is 410,000. I'll go over the whole table a little bit later, but here I just wanted to show you the portfolio breakdown, which is over here, and the monthly income that I'm getting according to my portfolio breakdowns. Over here, I wrote the distribution rate. This is an estimate. In real estate, I currently get $394 a month rent income. That's after all the expenses. And then BTCI, over here, the distribution, as we saw, it was around 26%. So 26% from 10,000. My monthly distribution should be about $217. By the way, I'm going to get a distribution, I think tomorrow, distribution calendar. So we have payable date. So 5/22, today is May 21st. The 26%, this is per year. So it's about $217 per month. Cash, $215 in stretch, with 11.5% dividend would be about $2,000 a month. And then 3.4% of 70,000 is about $200 a month. So total, my estimated monthly income would be about $2,800 according to this. But obviously this is not my plan for my portfolio. This is as of now. And my goal eventually is to have 60% income and 40% growth. I kind of divided this chart. The top part is my income producing portfolio. And over here in the middle section, this is my growth producing part of my portfolio. And the last part is cash. By the way, I'm including all of my accounts together when I'm looking at this portfolio, my brokerage account, my Roth IRA, and my HSA. My individual brokerage account, as you can see, BTCI over here, I bought 10,000 worth of that. It went down since May 15th is when I purchased BTCI for the first, well, not for the first time. I've been actually trading in my tax-free accounts. So we have 10,000 BTCI, and then we have stretch 215,000. This is divided between my brokerage account, my Roth IRA, and my HSA. Stretch here it's showing 200,000, and I have another 15,000 in my Roth IRA and HSA. And then the rest is in Fidelity FZDXX. Over here is my Roth IRA. Actually today I repurchased stretch in my Roth IRA. So I have about $10,000 in stretch. And my last account, my health savings account, my HSA. This is also a retirement, well, I see it as a retirement account. And I also purchased stretch here. Now we're going to go over my plan for 2026, which is mostly exposure to Bitcoin. This is my plan for 2026. Real estate, I can't sell anymore this year. I'm going to sell my last property next year. It's going to be too much taxes. BTCI, my goal is to invest $100,000 in BTCI. $100,000 in BTCI would produce about $2,100 in monthly income. And my goal is to have $30,000 invested in XBCI. It's the NEOS boosted Bitcoin high income ETF. So this is similar to BTCI, but this is the leveraged version. It's leveraged about 1.5. The distribution rate here is 38.31% as of now. The goal of the fund's exposure to Bitcoin and income strategies is to seek boosted monthly income and return potential. The fund may seek to take advantage of tax loss harvesting opportunities by taking investment losses from the spot Bitcoin ETPs and or Bitcoin futures ETF positions to offset realized taxable gains of the spot Bitcoin ETPs and or Bitcoin futures ETFs. The fund's exposure to the underlying strategies of BTCI combined with a boost from the additional long exposure to Bitcoin and the additional income through a synthetic Bitcoin covered call strategy is designed to create approximately 150% of notional exposure, portfolio exposure to BTCI. Distributions made by the fund have been classified as a return of capital and may be comprised of option premiums, dividends, capital gains, and interest payments. $30,000 in XBCI should produce about $950. So this is the income. This is the distribution rates. So you see $950, this is 38%, about 38% distribution rate. Same for BTCI, about 26%. We have real estate, a very low return. This is the percentage of portfolio. And then I have a 5-year projection, meaning in 5 years, the equity would be worth $126,000. And in 5 years, assuming it won't go up, I wanted to be on the safe side because it's the upside is capped because it's options. So I could fill this out later. So let's say 130 and 30,000. The second part of the portfolio is growth. Why is this 99.3? Why isn't this updated? Sorry, this wasn't updated. This needs to be. Okay, I updated everything. It should come out to 100%. The growth part, my goal is to invest in actual Bitcoin, about $85,000, in Ethereum, about $4,400, in XRP, about $1,900. So the reason it's a little, like the numbers are 45,785, 4,444, like it's not rounded up. I had Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP and I sold it so for a tax write-off because it went down because I'm trying to save on the taxes for my long-term capital gains from selling my real estate. So the plan is just to sell it and buy back. So BTC, there's no dividend or anything. I wrote, just for the example, 30% average return. So if I look here, 30% average return projected for 5 years would be about 318,000. So I did the same thing, Ethereum. This is just for the example. I don't know how much Bitcoin is going to go up every year. I just wrote 30%. That would be like a really amazing situation. So 30% per year would bring me to 16,489. And for XRP, I also wrote 30%, 7,138. And cash, stretch, I want only $50,000 to invest. So now I'm going to have to sell off of my stretch, which was kind of defeating the purpose of the return on capital because I'm selling it now. So I'm going to have to pay taxes on it this year. So pay taxes on the dividend. This also is not expected to go up. This is expected to stay around the $100. And cash, 23 again. So according to this, my monthly income should be about $4,000 a month. 5-year projection, $672,000. I also wanted to mention regarding my Roth IRA and HSA, because they're tax-free accounts, I've been buying and selling 3 different ETFs. I've been buying and selling BTCI, XBCI, and Stretch. So I've been buying and selling and getting the dividends and kind of playing around with them in my HSA and Roth IRA because these are tax-free accounts. But in my brokerage account, I want to buy and hold so I could postpone my taxes. So that's the plan for now. Let me know your thoughts about this portfolio breakdown and I'll see you in the next portfolio update.